We now move on to item 6, report of the Non-Governmental Organizations Forum. Mr. Secretary, the floor is yours to present this item to us.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. With your permission, I'll go into French again. Madame la Présidente, c'est la première fois qu'un point distinct est inscrit à l'ordre du jour pour que le comité puisse recevoir le rapport du Forum des organisations non gouvernementales. Ceci vient du fait que la session précédente du comité a souhaité entendre d'une manière plus directe la voix des organisations non gouvernementales accréditées. Un tel souhait est en phase avec la conclusion de la réflexion menée par le comité entre 2017 et 2019 qui souligne que le rôle des ONG accréditées dans le soutien à la mise en œuvre de la Convention ainsi que le potentiel inexploité du Forum des ONG et du PCI. Il convient de noter que cette initiative de prévoir un point distinct à l'ordre du jour du comité a été saluée par l'Assemblée générale lors de sa 8e session en septembre cette année. L'annexe au présent document LHE/20/15.com/6 est donc le premier rapport soumis par le Forum des ONG du PCI. Le rapport présente des questions d'organisation et des activités accomplies au cours de la période 2019 et 2020, ainsi que le point de vue du Forum concernant le rôle des ONG accréditées dans la mise en œuvre de la Convention. Madame la Présidente, si vous me permettez, je voudrais inviter Madame Laila Seribasic, représentante des ONG internationales au sein du comité directeur du Forum des ONG du PCI, à prendre la parole pour nous présenter le rapport. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for this concise presentation. I now give the floor to the ICH Ngo Forum.
Thank you for giving me the floor, Madam Chairperson. Let me first to echo previously expressed congratulations to the Secretariat and Jamaica for organizing this online session. The ICH NGO Forum is grateful for the opportunity to provide this report, which was made possible thanks to the committee's decision 14-COM-15. We are also grateful for its inclusion regardless of a restricted agenda of this session. We regard this as a sign of a deepened involvement of NGOs in the functioning of the Convention on the international scale. One of our aims is precisely to work independently yet collaboratively with governments, the Committee and the General Assembly, the UNESCO Secretariat, and other stakeholders on national and international levels in accordance with the principles and objectives of the Convention for the benefit of ICH communities, groups, and individuals, and in the interest of civil society. Established in 2009-2010, the Forum has over time become the principal platform for networking and cooperation among accredited NGOs and for the exchange of information and ideas about safeguarding ICH. In parallel, it has strengthened its governance. The first steering committee was created in 2015, with electoral procedures instituted in 2018, and the bylaws and code of conduct adopted last year. In the context of ongoing reflection process on the advisory functions of accredited NGOs, let us to emphasize that the Forum identified 7 sets of functions, from networking to fostering ethical principles, providing information and sharing experiences about safeguarding practices, advancing cooperation with various stakeholders, contributing to the capacity building program, and last but not least, advancing the committee. Therefore, as it is proposed in the draft decision, we consider that the explicit advisory functions to the committee could incorporate not only the current service in the evaluation body, but also specific thematic issues encompassing experience sharing on good safeguarding practices and participation in follow-up, reporting and monitoring on inscribed elements. The second point we want to underline concerns a great diversity among NGOs accredited to the Convention. This diversity is a strength of the Forum, evidenced in our annual meetings and symposia, the journal and book series Heritage Alive, activities of our working groups, and other joint ventures, such as, for instance, a conference on ICH and resilience in crisis held a month ago in cooperation with ISHCAP. As for events during the 15th COM, yesterday we had a symposium on ICH and tourism during and after COVID, while our General Assembly and meetings of working groups are scheduled from today until Saturday. And of course, you are welcome to attend. As a whole, the Forum prioritizes participatory engagement by its members to the greatest extent possible. This is, however, not always easy to accomplish. To achieve the highest possible engagement of as many NGOs as possible, with all benefiting from their various capacities, perspectives, and expertise, the capacity building tailored specifically for NGOs needs to be advanced. In that, the Forum cannot act alone, taking into account the broadening of our activities and, on the other hand, the current exclusively volunteer, unpaid mode of our operations. The draft decision therefore includes an invitation to state parties to consider supporting the operation of the Forum or its specific programs. The third important issue pertains to the still present unbalanced geographical distribution of accredited NGOs. The Forum itself should do more in this regard through networking and through direct communication with ICH NGOs from underrepresented regions. We hope that our newly established working group dedicated to this issue will be instrumental in achieving more balanced geographical participation. Finally, let me to underline that the Forum feels ready to assume an enhanced advisory role to the committee, including more active role in your deliberations. You may wish to consider how to overcome impediments preventing exchanges at the sessions that would more integrally involve NGOs. We are grateful for the debate that follows and will be happy to respond to questions and comments that you may have. Thank you, Madam Chairperson and the committee, for your attention.
Thank you, Madam Seribashik, for your comprehensive presentation on behalf of the ICH NGO Forum. The report clearly shows the contributions that are being made by accredited NGOs in the implementation of the convention and the important role that the ICH NGO Forum has been playing to coordinate their work in numerous ways. The forward-looking suggestions are very much welcome. I now open the floor. Does any committee member wish to take the floor? I know that the report of the non-governmental organizations is of great interest to all. So I wish to open the floor to observers. And I understand that Panama would like to take the floor at this time. Please go ahead, Panama.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you well.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. In regarding this point, our concern is in relation to the draft decision that is submitted for our consideration this afternoon. Our concern is basically, how do you see going forward to consider the forum's request, particularly in what relates to point 6 of this draft decision? Thank you.
Thank you, Panama. I now invite Switzerland to take the floor.
Madam Chair, as we take the floor for the first time, Switzerland would like to congratulate and thank you, Madam Minister, and Jamaica for chairing and hosting this committee meeting. We have only one regret as I look out of the window, is not to be all together in Kingston. Je souhaite également féliciter et remercier le Bureau de nous permettre de nous réunir dans ces conditions si particulières. De même, nous sommes très reconnaissants envers l'équipe du secrétariat pour avoir organisé cette session en ligne, l'avoir imaginée et mis en œuvre des solutions techniques créatives. La Suisse tient à remercier le Forum des organisations non gouvernementales pour son rapport et les activités des instances de la société civile au sein de notre convention. Ce rapport reflète également des questions et des enjeux pour mieux structurer et coordonner la participation importante des ONG à la gouvernance et à la mise en œuvre de la Convention. Nous saluons le travail et les réflexions du Forum des ONG et l'encourageons à poursuivre ces efforts de manière concertée et constructive. Nous invitons également le Forum à renforcer son organisation et à préciser son rôle et ses contributions possibles pour l'avenir de la Convention. Par conséquent, et pour assurer un suivi, nous soutenons la proposition de maintenir ce point du rapport du Forum des ONG à l'ordre du jour des prochaines sessions du comité. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Switzerland. I will ask the Secretariat to read out the list of requests for interventions because we seem to have a fairly long list of interventions, requests for interventions. Please, Tim, could you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So for the next committee members, we have Netherlands, Czechia, Sweden, Republic of Korea, and for non-committee members, we have the request from Singapore and from Lithuania. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sorry, Tim,
Sorry,
we
Madam
didn't
Chair,
hear
we've
you.
just had a request from another committee member, being Brazil. So I will reread. Netherlands, Czechia, Sweden, Republic of Korea, Brazil. Then we will pass to Singapore and Lithuania. Thank you.
Tim, we're not hearing you. I know Netherlands, Czechia, Sweden, Republic of Korea.
Can you hear me?
I will identify those, and then if you could, after Netherlands, you could just go through the list again for me because you would have had additional requests.
Yeah.
So I'll recognize Netherlands.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you okay.
Thank you, thank you. The Netherlands would like to congratulate you on your chairmanship, and we have full confidence that we will have fruitful outcomes despite the difficult circumstances due to COVID-19 pandemic. We would have loved to come to Jamaica and experience the culture there and the people, and to meet the other committee members, all the state parties, the NGOs, all the experts, our UNESCO family. But also online, we feel one love, one heart. Madam Chair, we think and we thank the ICH Ngo Forum for their clear and rich report. We welcome the many levels the Forum is working on, and that is to say all the activities in which the Forum supports the committee and the implementation of the convention. And that is much more than the advisory function to UNESCO. The forum is also of great help by discussing and presenting broad, important themes in symposia and workshops. Yesterday, we attended the online symposium organized by the forum on sustainable tourism in the post-COVID situation. Strategies and examples to rebuild tourism in the most responsible way possible were presented by NGOs in different regions in the world. Examples of tourism in which communities participate, also in the decision-making, with recommendations on better access to digital media for communities and passports for the responsible tourist. The NGO Forum is currently developing a toolkit on sustainable tourism, which will be available online for NGOs, for governments, heritage organizations, and communities. The NGO Forum is working on issues which have been mentioned by the evaluation body for several years now, this year with even more emphasis. Tourism, over-commercialization, decontextualization, gender, intellectual property are discussion points in relation to the inscription process of files, sometimes leading to referrals. We welcome that the ICH NGO Forum examines, discusses, and reflects on these subjects and report their findings. In this way, NGOs can fulfill their role as mediators. We also welcome the capacity building activities by the Forum to involve as many NGOs of the different regions in the world as possible. And we hope the Forum will be able to continue their important work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Netherlands. Tim, are you okay now with your
I'm
audio?
okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll read out the list as we have it. And there was still, I remind, a question from Panama that I imagine the NGO Forum will address. The next committee members who've asked for the floor are Czechia, Sweden, Republic of Korea, and Brazil. And then as observer states, we have Singapore, Lithuania, and Mauritania. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. I will now recognize Czechia.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thanks to the ICH NGO Forum for their historically first and very informative report. We have read it with great interest. We are extremely pleased that the convention has allowed the development of such an open and inclusive platform with so many diverse activities, stamina and desire to contribute to permanent progress in the area of safeguarding ICH, as well as statutory organization of the convention's work. The activities of the NGO Forum are proof of the dedication and engagement of its individual members. The NGO Forum is not a merely formal association of different organizations. It has created its own agenda and working methods, which they are trying to link systematically with the work of the Intergovernmental Committee and the General Assembly. Taking into consideration the expertise accumulated by the NGO Forum and the desire to facilitate the work of the Committee and the Assembly, its contribution and potential should not be underestimated. We should search for the ways how to use their capacity and skills, especially when dealing with persistent challenges, such as effective sharing of good safeguarding practices, monitoring of already inscribed elements, or maybe even assistance for less experienced states in the process of drafting their nomination files to the ICH lists. The possibilities of the committee and the secretariat are often limited, given by different objective constraints, and the capacity of the NGO Forum could significantly help to proceed with resolving different persistent issues. It would be worthwhile considering the request of the NGO Forum to contribute in the debates of the committee on different issues, especially when it comes to important conceptual matters. For example, the NGO Forum could be invited to prepare background materials or proposals to individual items of our agenda, which would be made part of the meeting documents. The committee would thus have access to views and fresh ideas based on a wide range of expert experience. However, such a new approach would probably bring some systematic changes, new administrative challenges, and probably also some financial demands. Because the Secretariat works with the NGO Forum closely, we would like to know their opinion about this general idea of some way of engaging the NGO Forum more in the preparation of the committee meetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. I will now invite Sweden to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since it's the first time that Sweden takes the floor, we want to congratulate you on your chairmanship. Of course, we also had hoped to be where you are, but thank you for the music. To the musicians, thank you, and thank you, Jamaica. Looking forward to our first year in the committee and working together, Sweden also want to thank the Secretariat that has arranged this meeting under extraordinary circumstances and in a short time. Sweden would like to thank the Ngo Forum for their first report under a separate item under the committee's agenda. It is of the utmost importance, we think, that this item will be included not only next year, but in the future agendas of the committee meetings as well. The NGOs have a crucial role to play in ensuring that the intangible cultural heritage remains living and dynamic. Therefore, the question of how to increase the participation of NGOs in the implementation is an important issue for the future of this convention. After reading the report, we are glad to see how the work within the NGO Forum has developed in recent years, and that the work carried out is completely in line with the core of the convention. This in itself strengthens the Forum's position as the association of accredited NGOs and the connection to the committee. We also see that there are challenges when it comes to being able to realize parts of the work. And we believe that we, all state parties, must see the value of the NGO's work and be the ones who in the first place and in the best way can create conditions for this. The report gives many good suggestions for the continued work. During Sweden's 4 years in the committee, we look forward to taking further steps towards giving the NGOs a more formalized role. We need knowledge not only about the intangible cultural heritage, but also within different practices. And we all need to work together in this common and important mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Sweden. I will now recognize the Republic of Korea and ask you to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since I'm taking the floor for the first time, I would like to express my appreciation for the excellent leadership of the chairperson, tireless efforts of the ICH Secretariat. Even though we get together virtually, I can feel the collective commitment to safeguarding intangible heritage is quite tangible on the screen. The Republic of Korea is pleased to participate again as a committee member, and I would like to assure our commitment to contributing to the international community's cooperation for the protection of intangible cultural heritage. We appreciate the hard work of the Secretariat and non-governmental organizations following the past discussions on the role of NGOs in implementing the 2003 Convention. We believe that NGOs are best positioned to communicate with, motivate, and energize heritage communities in safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. Moreover, The international network NGOs will facilitate the dissemination of best practices and eventually enhance understanding of each other's ways and lives. We welcome and fully support the requests from the ICH NGO Forum to promote the participation of accredited NGOs in sharing good practice experiences, follow-up of inscribed elements, and assessment of periodic reporting. In recent years, the Forum, in cooperation with the International Information and Networking Center for Intangible Cultural Heritage in the Asia-Pacific region, published volumes on traditional medicine and traditional food in its online journal, #Heritage Alive. As in this example, we expect that there will be increased cooperation with NGOs, other organizations of the convention, and UNESCO regional offices and secretariat in the future. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I will now invite Brazil to take the floor.
Gracias, Presidenta. Quisiéramos agradecer por el informe presentado y reafirmar el importante papel que las organizaciones no gubernamentales tienen en los trabajos de esta convención, cuyos resultados dependen del diálogo constructivo entre los gobiernos y sociedad civil. En este contexto, el Fórum de las ONGs representa una oportunidad esencial de diálogo e intercambio de ideas para seguir perfeccionando los mecanismos institucionales existentes y para traer nuevas soluciones a las cuestiones que se vayan presentando. Nos gustaría recibir más informaciones sobre las actividades desarrolladas por las ONGs de forma a poder valorar el aporte que cada una de ellas trae a la convención. Y para eso nos parece que el fórum pueda discutir también las mejores formas de diálogo, no solo entre las ONG, la Secretaría y el órgano evaluador, sino también con los miembros del comité. Entendemos que la diversificación geográfica de la participación de las ONGs en la convención no se puede hacer sin un amplio programa de construcción de capacidades. Y creemos que tal diversificación, además de necesaria, puede enriquecer mucho el debate y la calidad del trabajo que realizamos. Gracias, Presidenta.
Thank you. Thank you, Brazil. I will now invite Singapore.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. As this is the first time Singapore is taking the floor, let me first congratulate Madam Chairperson on your appointment and excellent stewardship. I would also like to thank the Secretariat for the hard work in making the virtual session possible. Singapore expresses our deep appreciation to the steering committee of the ICH NGO Forum for inviting us to participate in the forum and for co-organizing the symposium on ICH in urban context held in Bogota last year. We are grateful for the acknowledgement of Singapore's involvement at the forum. Our collaboration with the NGO Forum was a positive and enriching experience. Singapore shared our experiences in safeguarding ICH in an urban context and how ICH plays an important role in fostering cultural understanding and social cohesion among diverse urban communities. The rich discussions at the forum provided many insights on good safeguarding practices involving the active participation of communities. Singapore looks forward to future opportunities to share our experiences on the safeguarding of ICH and to further collaborations with the NGO Forum. We believe that the dialogue and networking at the forum promotes mutual understanding between state parties and NGOs. Based on our own positive experience, we encourage all fellow state parties to strengthen their engagement and partnership with accredited NGOs as we work together to advance our common mission to safeguard our intangible cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Singapore. Lithuania, you may now make your intervention.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I would like to express our appreciation and joyfulness that the session has successfully started in a new format despite of the global challenges regarding the pandemic situation. Many thanks to Jamaica and UNESCO Secretariat, and also thank you for all this reggae music that enriches the session. I wish also congratulate the Honorable Chairperson, Madam Olivia Grange, for your work and dedication and commitment to the field. Regarding the item 6 and the draft decision 15.6, Lithuania wishes to support it and strongly welcomes the approach which will strengthen the role of NGOs in the functioning of the convention in the future. The scope of activities of the NGOs Forum is impressive, including its highly relevant input in networking, exchange and cooperation among accredited NGOs safeguarding ICH, and in particular into the global reflection processes on listing mechanism reform, ICH in urban context, in emergencies, and COVID-19 or balanced geographical distribution. So it is essential to keep on with strengthening interactions between the committee and the NGOs Forum. Therefore, we consider this decision is certainly a relevant starting point in supporting and developing further the partnership with the NGOs Forum. And many thanks for the well-prepared report full of analytical insights. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Lithuania. And now I invite Mauritania to make your intervention.
Hello. Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for your leadership. And throughout you, I would like to congratulate the Secretariat and the member of the committee for the quality of the document. La Mauritanie tient tout d'abord à vous exprimer le fait qu'elle se félicite de l'élection des nouveaux États membres à ce comité. Et nous sommes persuadés du travail remarquable que le comité poursuivra malgré la situation sanitaire mondiale et les risques des répercussions déjà ressenties sur ce riche patrimoine et surtout les acteurs culturels à travers le monde qui ont déjà subi les conséquences de cette pandémie. Nous tenons ici à remercier et féliciter le secrétariat et l'ADG Culture au niveau de l'UNESCO pour le travail remarquable accompli à travers cette prise de conscience de la situation et l'appui qui commence à se ressentir au niveau des États membres, au niveau des acteurs culturels. Comme vous le savez, la Mauritanie tient beaucoup à la mise en œuvre de la Convention de 2003 parce que nous sommes convaincus de son importance pour la sauvegarde et la mise en valeur du patrimoine immatériel combien riche et diversifié à travers le monde et dans notre pays. Plusieurs actions sont menées avec des ONG nationales dans le cadre de ce forum. Et nous saluons le travail de coopération avec les États avec lesquels nous avons des biens culturels communs et nous tenons à féliciter l'appui et l'assistance de l'UNESCO à cet effet. Et nous félicitons également le forum des organisations gouvernementales pour la qualité du rapport soumis. Donc, la Mauritanie œuvrera et continuera à œuvrer pour la mise en valeur de ce patrimoine immatériel et nous sommes surtout convaincus du rôle que la société civile devra continuer à jouer parce que c'est elle qui mettra en œuvre la pérennité de ce patrimoine. Y al fin, la Mauritania desea una vez más felicitar a los miembros del comité y el secretaria para la calidad del documento y muchas gracias.
Thank you so much. I now invite Cyril to take the floor. Cyril, could you please take the floor?
Oui,
or maybe I could move on to
oui,
Burke.
merci. Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous remercions le Forum des ONG pour son rapport et nous soutenons le maintien du point sur le rapport des forums des organisations non gouvernementales dans l'ordre du jour des sessions futures. La République arabe syrienne attire l'attention sur la contribution déterminante des ONG accréditées dans la réponse qu'apportent nos sociétés pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine vivant, spécifiquement dans les situations d'urgence et en temps de crise. Je rappelle l'articulation de la 8e session de l'Assemblée générale des États parties à la Convention de 2003 autour du patrimoine culturel immatériel dans les situations d'urgence qui s'est conclue par l'approbation des principes opérationnels et des modalités de sauvegarde du patrimoine culturel immatériel dans les situations d'urgence. Ce qui laisse transparaître la priorité qui serait la nôtre est certainement celle d'un grand nombre d'États parties à la Convention 2003, lesquels font face à des contextes de crise graves, de conflits et de catastrophes naturelles, ainsi que sanitaires qui perdurent. Ce qui me permet d'attirer l'attention sur une ONG syrienne qui est le Syria Trust Fund, le Trust syrien pour le développement, qui a apporté une réponse sociétale de la société civile en Syrie et une réponse agile en initiant des mesures d'urgence appropriées en faveur du sauvetage du patrimoine culturel et immatériel syrien. Vous savez, c'est un ONG qui a su mettre en avant l'expertise populaire et le savoir-faire syrien inclusif et traditionnel qui puise sa légitimité dans la richesse et la diversité culturelle ancestrale de la Syrie. Je considère que la présence des ONG avec nous aujourd'hui, leur participation, le reflet du rapport qui a été présenté, n'est que la marque d'un nouvel ère qui commence dans ce 21e siècle sous l'impact tragique de la pandémie du Covid-19. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Cyril. I will now invite Burkina Faso to take the floor. If there is a technical difficulty for Burkina Faso to join us, let me invite Palestine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je pense que mes collègues qui m'ont précédé ont dit tout ce que je voulais dire, mais au tout début, et ça ne fait pas de mal, de remercier encore une fois le Forum des ONG et d'insister sur l'importance de leur rôle et aussi le soutien pour que ce rapport ne soit pas le premier et le dernier. C'est un premier rapport et nous en réjouissons et nous souhaitons effectivement, comme les autres collègues, que ça reste un point régulier à l'ordre du jour du comité. Vu l'importance du rôle de ce forum et des ONG, et notamment, comme ça a été mentionné avant, dans les cas d'urgence et les cas de conflit armé, bien entendu, et aussi leur rôle en ce qui concerne les langues autochtones. Donc, pour toutes ces raisons, je réitère mes remerciements au Forum des ONG et je leur souhaite tout leur succès et nous souhaitons réentendre et relire leur rapport à la prochaine session. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I will now give the floor to Mr. Curtis to answer the question from Panama.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Indeed, going right to the beginning, there was one question which I understand was in fact directed at the Secretariat. I will answer it to the extent possible. If I understand correctly, the delegate of Panama was asking how we're going to go forward, and particularly in relation to paragraph 6 of the draft decision. And indeed, paragraph 6 of the draft decision takes note of a number of potential roles for the NGO Forum. In order to try to be very brief, some of these we can do through actions of the Secretariat. Some of these will be subject to decisions of the committee, and some may be within the ICH NGO Forum. Very briefly, for example, in terms of capacity building, we are ready to move. We need so-called fuel in the car, so to speak. We need financing, extra budgetary financing. If we are able to secure extra budgetary financing for that purpose, there is no reason we cannot do, as we have done in many occasions, a rollout with our field officers to start implementing capacity building programs for NGOs in the field of intangible cultural heritage. And obviously, it could be interesting to specifically focus that on underrepresented regions. In terms of assuming an enhanced advisory role on somatic issues or the sharing of experiences of good safeguarding practices or follow-up of inscribed elements, all of these have been discussed. You will recall we've had reflections on the role of the NGOs, but these do require some statutory decisions which will have to be made by either the committee or the General Assembly if they are to be formalized roles. I remind you, as was also mentioned this morning by the delegation of Japan, that we are in a process of reflection on the listing mechanisms, including their follow-up. That process we haven't advanced as we wished to this year due to the pandemic, but there's by no means is that process stopping, and we intend to continue as soon as we can. Within that process, there may be discussions about the role of the NGO Forum. For example, follow-up of inscribed elements to the list, follow-up of on elements inscribed on the lists, as well as the sharing of experiences of good safeguarding practices, both which fall under that. In terms of periodic reporting, it is a very interesting concept to have quote-unquote assessments of the periodic reporting, but that obviously will be a decision that will have to go through intergovernmental processes to see if it's to be implemented officially. I could go on, I won't for now, but I would suppose sum up by saying that this is not the first time these issues are on the table. It is the first time they are part of a specific item for the committee. And we are following closely. I would reiterate that we would be very pleased to implement a capacity building program for NGOs, and we would urge states who are so inclined to approach with possible funding, because the limitations there are really financial. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I hope that has answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Let us now move to the draft decision. Please refer to document LHE/20/15.com/6 and its draft decision in paragraph 4. I suggest that we adopt the decision as a whole, as you see it on this screen.
Madam President, I'm requesting the floor. Before you go into the decision, please, is Panama requesting the floor?
Panama, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the explanation given by Tim Curtis, because that's exactly our concern with this point 6. We can see the value and the crucial role played by the forum. There's no doubt about it. Our delegation completely supports that idea, but we would like to know if by adopting this decision, are we accepting and adopting a new role for the NGOs? For us, it's very important that the forum could help NGOs from those underrepresented regions like ours in GRULAC. we can see them playing a role as an advisory in terms regarding certain thematic issues. But those issues that deal with the follow-up to inscribe elements, the assessment of periodic reporting is something that we need to look at. We need to discuss it among the members of the committee to be able to submit a recommendation to the next assembly. If in this document now, we accept the resolution, the draft resolution as it is presented to us, are we adopting this new enhanced role for the NGOs? Are we accepting the new role that they will play in terms of evaluation and assessment of our periodic reports? I think that we are not in agreement with that. So we would like to know, how are you going to follow through with this resolution? Thank you.
Thank you, Panama. I'm going to ask the Secretariat.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Indeed, I understand, I think, the question of Panama. I would just point out that this decision merely takes note of the request. So this decision is not a binding decision that it must be implemented, and there are many aspects of this request. So if the language does not mean you have accepted the request, it just means that as a committee you have taken note of these requests. Obviously, for them to be accepted, they would have to be unpacked and presented to future meetings in more detail on some of the elements and separated. But here it's really, since this is the first, I understand the ICH NGO Forum wished to present its ideas, and this is taking note of those ideas. And I remind that those ideas have been discussed in previous committees, and indeed with a special meeting we held where we had both state parties and non-governmental organizations present. So in short, no, you are not endorsing those requests here. You are merely taking note of those requests. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. So can we go ahead and adopt the decision as a whole, as seen on the screens? If there are no objections, I see no objections. I therefore declare decision 15.6 adopted as it appears on the screens. Members, we're running a little behind. I will attempt to take item 7. All right, colleagues, I think we will wrap up today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, we will stop the examination of our agenda items here. But before we finish today's session, I would like to give the floor to the Secretariat for a few practical announcements.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Just to remind participants that the Bureau will meet for the first time tomorrow at 1 p.m. Paris time. And this meeting will take place on the same Zoom meeting link that you have for this plenary session. This means that those delegates who will arrive in the plenary may witness the Bureau meeting in progress. And we remind you, please be careful to mute all your microphones for the smooth functioning of the meeting. Allow me also to remind you that the Bureau meeting is indeed open to public, but observers cannot take the floor unless without the prior consent of the chairperson, as per Rule 12.4 of the committee's rules. Concerning the election, voting under item 10, the establishment of the evaluation body for the 2021 cycle, will take place, as was mentioned this morning by my colleague Fumiko, at UNESCO headquarters in Paris tomorrow, on Tuesday, 15th of December, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Paris time in room 3. For details, I would ask you to please refer to the Inf 1.1 General Information document, as well as the email sent by the Secretariat on this matter on December the 10th, 2020. Concerning nominations, which is item 8 of the agenda, a message was sent by the Secretariat to all state parties on 3rd of December. Committee members wishing to discuss or amend specific draft decisions on nominations are invited to inform the Secretariat by tomorrow, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Paris time, please, if you may. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Tim. With that said, I would like to remind you that we will start the main session promptly at 1:30 p.m. Paris time tomorrow with the examination of item 8. Of item 7. We have many nominations to go through, so it is very important to be on time. I would like to seek your cooperation in this regard. Remember that we close each day with a reggae chill moment. We close today with Bob Marley's Turn Your Lights Down Low. It's part of the series Play for Change video series that features Bob Marley's music. And so with that, be safe until tomorrow. I declare today's session adjourned. Thank you.